Thank you so much to ZocDoc for sponsoring this episode of Making Moves. ZocDoc is a free app where you can find amazing doctors and book appointments online. We're talking about booking appointments with thousands of top-rated, patient-reviewed doctors and specialists. You can filter specifically for ones who take your insurance, are located near you, and treat almost any condition you are searching for. The average wait time to see a doctor booked on ZocDoc is between just 24 and 48 hours. That's it. You can even score same-day appointments, which I have, by the way, through ZocDoc. It's amazing. Go to ZocDoc.com/moves and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/moves. ZocDoc.com/moves. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Making Moves. I'm here today with the iconic Luann Diaz. It's her first podcast.
I know. I'm so excited. I'm excited that it's yours.
I'm so honored.
No,
like,
I
can't.
Why
did you say yes?
Why did you invite me?
I mean, because I love you and I love your content. And
thank you.
I'm so excited. I was just telling Luann off camera, I'm so excited to have the ability to ask you anything I want and get one-on-one time.
I'm excited.
Because every time I see you, it's normally in a group setting.
Yes.
Or like at a festival or a concert.
I think last time I saw you, I was just crying the entire time because it was Taylor Swift.
Yes.
So,
which you're a huge Swiftie.
major Swiftie.
Same.
Yes.
Okay. Need to know everything about
Okay.
your Swiftie side. When did you become a fan?
I became a fan. Oh my gosh. I think the first song that I remember screaming was like You Belong With Me. And I was probably like first grade or
Okay.
something. Like,
How old were you?
I'm 22.
Okay. Oh my gosh, you're so young. Okay, so you're 22.
Yes.
You belong with me. Are you are you a fearless girl?
I love Fearless. It's so hard. It depends on my mood. I think that's a lot of like Swifties will relate because I love Reputation. I love Lover. Recently, I've been like a big Lover girl.
Okay,
But
if I had to
Midnights-
guess from my POV watching you and your boyfriend eras, you're definitely a lover girl.
Yes, I think so. Lover for sure. But when our song came on, I was also bawling.
Yeah.
So
You're a big Swiftie. And what do you think about her and Travis Kelce?
I think it's really cute.
Yeah.
It feels like very wholesome and like, I don't know. It
Yeah.
feels like Hallmark movie vibes.
It is. Well, and it's crazy because she has a song literally about dating, like being the cheer captain and like
Yes.
dating the football quarterback or whatever. So yeah, it's really cute. It feels like a fairy tale.
Yes, it does.
To
Especially
watch.
it's been so cute watching all the like her friends that she brings along to the
Yes.
games. It's so cute.
She likes to have her friends around. Like you can, I mean, she always has gone through her, remember the girl gang
Yeah.
kind of phase, but it's not even a phase because she still has her girl gang.
Yes.
Which like I'm living for because all of her girl gang people are like other celebrities I love.
Exactly. It's so fun to watch. And
It
I think
is.
it's really cool that it's the first celebrity that is not like an actor or like a singer. It's like a football player. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like different, I think, for her.
I think it's probably a nice
It's
change of
probably good.
pace. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So Luann, tell me
Yes.
about how the heck you grew up and ended up in Los Angeles. Like you currently live here. You grew up in Mexico. I want to hear the entire story.
Okay, so I'm originally from Cancun, Mexico. And
Where in Mexico?
Cancun.
Oh, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I usually
Okay.
get that, like a lot of people be like, "You're from there?" Like actually
Yeah,
from
what is
there?
it like?
It's definitely grown so much since I was little. Like I used to go to Tulum and there'd be like nothing. It'd be like if you went to Tulum like when I was like 4 or 5, it'd be cold water, like showers, like solar panel, like electricity kind of thing.
Whoa.
It was so laid back. Like it was not like a party town like it is now, for
Yeah.
example. But it was fun. I enjoyed it. And when I was like 12 or so, my family and I moved to the US.
Okay.
And
Where'd you move?
I think first we moved to California. I did like the desert, like Palm Springs area for like a couple months. And then we moved to Hawaii.
Wow.
And then back to California. We did Texas. We did Florida. We moved to, where did we go from Florida? It's funny. My best friend can probably tell you the order of where I moved
Yeah.
so much better than I can. But we moved around a whole bunch. And then right before COVID, we were living in La Quinta, which is like by Palm Desert
Okay.
again. And it was kind of funny during COVID. It was like a crazy time, I think, for everyone.
Yeah.
But I went to visit my family like right in Cancun, right before everything got shut down. And when everything started getting shut down, my mom and I were in Cancun with one of my friends. And we were like, let's just like stay here. Like, we're not going to fly to the U.S., like back to the U.S. So we stayed in Cancun. I stayed in Tulum. COVID helped me a lot to like grow on social media, which was incredible. I mean, COVID was horrible, but I feel like for creators, since everyone
For
was at
sure.
home looking at their phone, I feel like everyone exponentially grew because I've been doing this for like 7 or 8 years, but I feel like the past 4 years have really been where it like started like picking up a little bit more. Anyway, was out there for a while, moved to Mexico City for a little bit too, for a few months.
Which I've heard is beautiful. I've never been.
You need to go. The food is so good. The museums are great. It's like kind of like a different version of New York.
Okay.
A little bit smaller, but it's like it's a vibe. It's really pretty.
Okay.
The buildings are gorgeous. The people are really nice.
That's what I've heard, like the architecture and the like city is awesome.
It's kind of like if New York and some parts of Europe like kind of had like a little baby. Wow. Like it's kind of like that vibe.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's so beautiful. The food's great. You need to go. I will take you.
Okay, please. I mean, you would be the gal to go with. So, wait, what was it like growing up in Cancun? I need to know, because I know it from the like spring breaker perspective of like, I mean, I've personally never been, but just like hearing of families or people, like I'm thinking of like frats that go there and like party, right?
Yeah.
But which is an ignorant, like that's the only way I know about it. I want to hear what it's like growing up there.
Well, I feel like it definitely changed a lot throughout like me growing up. Because when I was really small, like a little toddler, I lived with my grandparents, like more downtown, like where more still like the local people live. And it was very, I don't know, I didn't know anything else. I didn't come to the US till I was like 8 or 9 for the first time, and I did Disney. But it was, now looking back on it, it was definitely like living in a bubble. It's a very small like town vibe where I feel like every time we went to the grocery store or something, I knew someone that was there or like would see a friend or like a friend's parents or something like that. It was like very small town vibe, especially like my mom and my grandparents have been there since like the town was kind of like the city was starting to get built. So it's like Cancun's a very young city. I think it's like 50, 60 years old or something like that. Like it's a young city. It grew really quick. So like when my mom moved out there when she was like in middle school, there were still like monkeys in the park in front of her house. Like, it was just crazy.
That's
like,
crazy. That's awesome.
I think people don't realize that, but like Cancun was like a very small town like not that long ago, and like now it's like a full-on city, and yes, like it became like a very big party area and such.
Being a local or growing up there, was the tourism something you guys enjoyed or were annoyed by?
Well, I think everyone was very thankful about it because it's what mostly everyone lived off of. But I will say, for example, spring break, once I was older, I was living by the beach. And during spring break, it was kind of like, we're not leaving our apartment. Like, we're not going outside because it's going to be crazy, especially as like having young kids. It was definitely like, you don't want your kid around spring breakers.
Yeah.
So like, we lived in one building that was next to like a very big day club vibe thing. And I just remember my mom being like, don't look over that way. Like, look that way or like we're going back inside.
Oh my gosh.
But overall, it was very, very chill. Like, I loved it. I loved being in the ocean and the water all the time, which was really fun. And it was literally a bubble, though. I feel like it's definitely weird being out of it and then seeing all my friends that still, like, from back in the day that, like, still live there and haven't, like, left. It's definitely a little bit shocking. I'm, like, I'm very thankful I got the experience to move around and leave.
Yeah. First of all, you have incredible English.
Thank you.
Did you learn English as a kid growing up, or when did you learn it?
I went to bilingual school. Like, from kindergarten on, I went to a school where half my classes would be in Spanish and half would be in English. Or, like, it'd be an A-day, B-day where one day would be Spanish, English kind of vibe.
I wish I would have done that.
It's honestly, it's pretty crazy. Like, I feel like a lot of countries, aside from the U.S., I feel like grow up like that.
Yeah.
We, like, grow up learning English. But my English was not the best till I moved to the U.S. When I was, like, 8, my mom met my stepdad, who was basically my dad. And I think speaking English all the time at home with him and then moving out here and going to school out here is really what helped me. Because looking back at videos of me speaking English when I was little, it was not that good. Like, I could understand people speaking English, but my English was actually not that good.
I always think of it when I'm playing tennis. Like, I always want to play with someone who's better than me because then I'll perform better.
And it's more fun.
And
it's like a challenge.
Yes. So it's the same thing, I'm sure, when you're learning a language. Like, when I am visiting, Mexico, Costa Rica, places like that, and you have more of a desire to want to learn because you're like, this is a necessity now. Versus in a classroom, it can be hard, I'm sure, 100%. With English as well, when everyone's English is rocky.
Yes.
How do you decide what language you want to use in your videos?
That's a hard one because I started... We'll go back 7 years ago. Okay. I started creating content in English while I was living in Cancun.
Why?
So just because I started in Musical.ly, and that was all that I was seeing in the platform. Like back in that day when you did Musical.ly, it was like a cringy thing, but especially in Mexico, like I feel like even so now with like social media in general, Mexico's a little bit behind than the US and everything from like pay to like how campaigns work and like legal stuff of like hashtag ad and things like that are very different out there. And I feel like in other countries and in the US, I feel like we're a little bit more advanced out here.
Yeah.
And then I moved on. I was then moved to Florida, and someone from Musical.ly reached out to me saying, hey, but you're like from Mexico, you should try posting stuff in Spanish.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, I'm going to try it out. Let's do it. And I did, and it was starting to like pay off. And I ended up switching back again to English at one point, and then back to Spanish. And during COVID, I was just doing stuff in Spanish because all my friends that were creators only did Spanish.
Really?
Yes. So I think part of the reason why I grew so much my Latin audience was because I was living out there, and all my friends were from Latin America. And finally, when I moved back to California, I was like, I don't want to just choose one language. I don't want to just like put myself in like a box in Spanish or a box in English, because sometimes I do think more in Spanish than English, and sometimes more in English than Spanish. Sometimes words go away for me in both languages and I don't make any sense whatsoever. Yeah. But I decided that I was just going to, you know, whatever idea I thought, if I thought they did in Spanish, I would do it in Spanish. If I thought in English, I would do it in English. Some videos perform better when I do them in Spanish and I do them in English. So I just kind of like play around with it. It's very hard on the algorithm. I feel like the algorithm sometimes punishes me for it because they don't know where to source, like where to put my content. But I'm so much more at peace with doing whatever I feel like doing that day than just doing one language.
Well, I've noticed from your TikTok, would you say most of your videos are in Spanish, or is it pretty half and half?
Probably. I think in TikTok I do mostly in, well, it depends, but mostly in Spanish, and I'll put English subtitles. And if I do it in English, I'll do the Spanish subtitles.
Okay.
Yes, everyone can understand it. And also for campaigns, even though I work with some brands that are very open to me creating the content in Spanish with subtitles in English, there are a lot of brands that, you know, would prefer like the video in English with subtitles in Spanish.
Really?
And do it the other way around. So it kind of depends. So I don't like to, you know, block myself of any opportunity. So I just try to like mix it up a little bit. But I would say it's mainly Spanish because there's so many Spanish speaking people in the US, which is crazy.
1,000,000%,
I literally looked at this fact yesterday. I don't remember the exact numbers, but I think it's something like English, even though there's so many people that speak it, it's most people's second language.
Yes.
Which is crazy.
And
they were like actual numbers, and I was like, whoa, like the numbers are wild. I think it's like Chinese is the first language, like as the first language, they speak the most as their first origin language, but it's wild.
What I've learned from you and your content is I feel very privileged in the sense being a content creator, having tools like adding the captions or subtitles that are auto-generated and they only have English, which I'm just now realizing because I was just talking to my producer for this podcast, and I told you off camera, like I would love to put Spanish subtitles on this podcast, but it's crazy because we would have to do it by hand.
Yeah, all my TikToks, I translate everything myself, and I'll like, honestly, sometimes it takes me longer to add the subtitles in another language than make the actual video.
That is crazy and so kind of you for viewers, like from a viewer's perspective. That is so kind of you to write all of the captions, because me being your English speaking follower, I wouldn't be able to really enjoy your content without having those captions. And I can't imagine being on the other side. So TikTok / whoever.
Anyone. Come up with a platform where you will translate
we can do auto-generated subtitles in different languages.
Yes.
Because even I'm thinking about all the content creators, like how cool would it be if we could have this podcast be subtitled in like 5 different languages.
Well, even growing up, I spoke English, but it wasn't the best. And I used to love watching YouTubers, but all the YouTubers did videos that I loved, did videos in only English, which was good. It kind of helped me with my English, but at the same time, I'm like, we are used to reading subtitles, which is something I feel like Americans are not used to doing, reading subtitles as much. So it's coming along, you know.
See,
I think
I'm pro subtitle. I like subtitle.
I love it. Even movies nowadays, I'll like put the subtitles on like in English or like whatever.
No, they're speaking English and I'm reading English and I'm like, why do I love it?
I don't know, but I grew up doing that. And then with a lot of my friends in the US, they were like, no, like that's not normal for us to do. But I was like, I'm used to going to a movie theater. Like when I was growing up, I'd go to the movie theater and I would want to watch it in like English, of course, because you want to listen to the actual actors' voices, but with the subtitles in Spanish. So I could actually understand what they were saying.
Absolutely.
And I'm just like used to doing that. But I feel like here it's not the most common thing to do. But it is great to like be able to do subtitles.
Oh, absolutely. I can't even imagine being in your position. So just thank you for taking the time to do that. Thank you so much to ZocDoc for sponsoring this episode of Making Moves. You know that feeling you get when you finally find the thing you've been searching for on the internet? After spending hours researching and reading thousands of reviews, you find it. Whether it's a new pair of shoes, a new toy for your dog, a new kitchen item, checks literally all your boxes and it has 5 stars. Oh, and it arrives in just 48 hours. So why is it that you can get the most random, wonderfully reviewed thing from around the world in just 2 days, but if you want to see a doctor, it can take forever to get an appointment? Not to mention, how do you know if they're even good? Thankfully, there's a way. It's called ZocDoc, a place to find and book great doctors who actually have amazing reviews, many with appointments available within 24 hours. ZocDoc is a free app where you can find amazing doctors and book appointments online. We're talking about booking appointments with thousands of top-rated, patient-reviewed doctors and specialists. You can filter specifically for ones who take your insurance, are located near you, and treat almost any condition you are searching for. The average wait time to see a doctor booked on ZocDoc is between just 24 and 48 hours. That's it. You can even score same-day appointments, which I have, by the way, through ZocDoc. It's amazing. There have been several times where I needed a doctor's appointment right before I went on a long trip, and through ZocDoc, I found one. And they're patient reviewed, so you know they're actually good. It's also the best because if you move to a new city and you don't have any doctor recommendations through people you actually know, ZocDoc can be trusted because they're patient reviewed, and it's just so easy to book a doctor through the app that filters all of your needs, like your insurance, how close they are, if they can treat your condition, etc. Go to ZocDoc.com/moves and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/moves. ZocDoc.com/moves. How long does that take you? Let's say for like a minute-long vlog where you're writing out the subtitles. How long does it take you to do that?
It depends how much I talk, and it depends if my brain's actually thinking in Spanish, because sometimes I have a hard time making sure that it makes sense in Spanish as well, because sometimes the words are not the same. And then I'm not the best at grammar, and since we have all of the different accents and stuff in Spanish,
my gosh.
it will take me, like, I'll have to text my mom and be like, Mom, how do you say this? Or like, where do I put the subtitle? Because if not, then I'll get roasted. So probably, I don't know, for like a 40-second video, probably like 8 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Or
that's
10.
Okay, that's way shorter than I thought it would be.
If I edit on actual TikTok, it takes longer. If I edit on like CapCut, it'll be a little bit quicker.
And that's where you edit everything.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
it's not horrible, but it's not ideal.
I mean, no, I can't even imagine for like a YouTube video.
Oh, I don't know. I know of a lot of people that will hire someone that specifically just does that. And
What
I'm
a
like,
skill.
Yes. No, it literally is.
Well, Mr. Beast, he has like different channels for different languages and countries. And he has like voice actors.
That is so smart.
From the different countries. Like dub voiceover.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know
his
that.
videos. Yeah. And he like has so many different, I forget all the languages he does, but I mean, he has obviously quite a bit of a budget,
Yes.
a bigger budget than I do. Let's just say that. But it would be so cool if everyone could, you know, enjoy everyone's content.
Yeah, that's honestly so smart. I did not know that. Like, I knew that he subtitled them, but I didn't know that he had like dubbed them.
Yeah,
that's so
he
cool.
basically, I don't quote me on this, but I heard in a podcast once that like, I want to say it was, let's say it was for his Spanish speaking video. He hired like the lead actor in Spider-Man.
That's so
who
crazy.
dubbed Spider-Man in Spanish or something.
That's so
then
fun.
it was like Spider-Man speaking in his videos, and people were like, wait, what the heck is this Spider-Man? I don't know if it was actual Spider-Man, but it was someone
Something
like it.
That's so
some
funny.
recognizable
That's so
voice.
smart, though.
And I was like, that is genius. It'd be like essentially like me hiring, if I only made Spanish speaking videos, me hiring Margot Robbie to like do my voiceover.
So fun.
Wouldn't that be insane?
I'm just gonna start dubbing your episodes.
I know.
You know, do my own voice,
And I'll do yours. Yeah, I know. Amazing. Anyway, okay,
so
so
funny.
I want to go back a little bit. So you moved a lot growing up.
Yes, I did.
Why did you move so much?
So my parents worked in like hotels, hospitality industry. So honestly, I think they just wanted to try different places out, and I was okay with it. I went to 11 schools growing up.
Oh,
I did 11.
what did you learn from that?
I loved it. It sounds weird. I didn't like being the new kid very much, especially towards the end, but I really enjoyed meeting new people, and I got so lucky with all the people that I got to meet. They were so genuinely nice. Like, I'd never had a bad new kid experience.
Oh my God,
really,
that's amazing.
which is crazy because
Yeah,
my
I love
odds
hearing
at 11
that.
schools would have like I should have like hit something. And then towards the end of high school, I didn't want to be the new kid anymore, and I was starting to do social media. So I was like, this is my chance. I didn't want to be the new kid in senior year because I was like, that will be rough because everyone's been together for 4 years, and I'm gonna be like,
For sure.
hey guys.
Yeah.
So I did online school, and that's how
Oh,
I ended
you
up
did.
graduating. Yeah.
Okay, and where were you last before you moved to LA?
I was in Mexico City. So I was in
Oh.
Mexico City, and then I had a friend, an online friend. His name's Josh. I had known him for a while, and he was like, hey, have a lot of friends that don't know what we're doing with our life. We are getting a house in Venice Beach for 2 months. It's just 2 months. You can stay here for a month if you want, or 2, whatever you want, whatever you feel comfortable with. And I was like, you know what? Yes, I will do it. And it was in Venice, so it was really expensive. And there were like 7 of us in like a house. It was like a co-working house type thing. It was really fun.
Was it like a content creator house?
Yes and no. So we were all content creators, but it wasn't like a content house where we like all collaborated and such.
Like
we all
on one account,
we all
yeah.
had different types of content, so that wasn't going to work. And we just kind of we were all a bunch of creators that needed a home, essentially. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So
Wait, that's so
it just
cute.
worked out. And there was no commitment to making videos together or anything like that. It was just we wanted somewhere to stay. And so he invited me, and I was like, yes, I'm going to do it. I literally, in Mexico, campaigns don't pay, or they didn't used to pay as well as like campaigns in the US do.
Wow.
So when I first moved, I was like, okay, there goes my savings. Let's use it for this and try it out. Because I miss the US. I miss living in Palm Springs and such. And when I was living in Palm Springs, I was coming to LA for events probably a couple times a week towards the end. Like my mom would drive me because I did not like driving. And I was 18.
so
So my mom
sweet.
wanted to come with me everywhere to make sure I was safe. And she would drive me just for an event and then drive back to the desert.
Oh my
It was
God,
crazy.
she's the best.
She really is. And so when I moved to Venice, I was there for like 2 months. At first 1 month, and then I ended up extending it because I didn't want to leave. And after the end of the 2 months, my friend Josh and I were like, so we need to find an apartment in LA because we don't want to go back. I think it was living in Missouri, and I was, living in Mexico. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to go back to Mexico. Let's find a place. So we did. We ended up coming back like a couple weeks later to find an apartment, and we found an apartment.
Where'd you find an apartment?
We ended up moving down by like Melrose and Larchmont. We found it online.
Okay, amazing.
So we literally landed from the airport with no plan.
Oh my gosh.
I was staying at a friend's house who's now my boyfriend, and he was staying with some other friends in their couch. And we literally got here and we're like, okay, we have somewhere to stay. We started looking at apartments that day in his car for like 3 hours and just sending as many emails as possible so that we could set showings for the next day.
Yeah.
Because we were only going to be there for like 3 or 4 days. And the second day, we actually found the place that we moved into. So it just all worked out.
Wow.
Yes.
I mean,
we
that
got lucky.
is...
It was meant to be. So it wasn't like I had a plan to move to LA. It was always in the back of my mind when I was younger, like, oh, it'd be really cool. But I didn't really know what moving to LA entailed. And then when I got the opportunity to come here for 2 months just to like, kind of like test it out, I was like, okay, I like it.
You like
I don't
the lay
want
of
to
the
leave.
land. Okay,
Yes.
got it. I would love to know, what is it like moving to the US? Like, what is something you wish that Americans realized that was so hard about, maybe not growing up here?
I think I got really lucky because when I moved, and I was in California for 2 months, and I didn't really go to school or meet anyone. I was just with my parents. But when I moved to Hawaii, I was in Kauai, and I was in the North Shore.
Wow.
And everyone there
Beautiful.
is so understanding and open and welcoming that I had the smoothest transition. Like I remember going to other schools where I was a new kid, and there were other new kids, and they had it a little bit rougher than I did. But I think I literally got so blessed with going into Kauai, where everyone was so nice. They were so overly nice. I mean, I don't think like kids didn't wear shoes to school. We were like 2 blocks away from like
Beach
the
kids.
beach.
Yeah.
It was such a vibe. It was so chill that because of that, I feel like I don't know what I'd say. I feel like in other states, maybe the language barrier would probably be the hardest thing because whenever I moved out here, I did have to relearn, like when you're learning math, you have like the different, names for different kinds of equations and stuff. And all of that is in Spanish. So it's like relearning math in a way because you're trying to relearn, like they'll be like, do such and such and such and such. And I'm like, what does that mean? I'm like, I have no idea.
I can't even do math in English. Like, I cannot even imagine trying to do like division in Spanish.
Yeah, like the words were all different, or even in English. Like I know what like the parts of the sentence were and all that, but not the name for that in English. So it was definitely like a learning experience of trying to learn how to say all that, you know?
For someone that's in Mexico right now or, out of the country and they speak Spanish and they want to move to the U.S., what advice would you give them to help make their transition smoother?
I would say, as of language-wise, if you can come and take little trips before your move to practice your English, or if you have a group of friends, I know that's a crazy thing because it's expensive to fly and all that.
Yeah.
But even if you have a group of friends that is willing to learn with you and practice with you, do that. Or now there's a lot of Americans in Mexico City, for example, go to a cafe and maybe start up a conversation with them, just practice, watch YouTube videos, movies in English.
That's great advice.
Watching YouTube videos honestly can help so much. I know so many friends that they learned English because of watching beauty YouTubers, and doing their makeup and stuff. So literally just practice your English as much as you can. I get a lot of questions asked about how to legally move out here and how I did all that. But I got really lucky again that my parents, because of my parents, I was able to get. Yes.
Okay.
I mean, it still took me 8 years to get my citizenship.
Wow.
But yeah, my dad's American. My stepdad's American.
Oh,
so
and did he adopt you?
He did, but I was already 18.
Okay.
So I
Awesome.
got it through I don't even know how I got it, but it took me 8 years to get it, which is crazy. I did take Smith, so now my last name is very white. We have the Smith on there, some Luann Diez Smith.
That's hilarious.
But I love it. It's so much easier because my last name is actually Guerra Diez Hidalgo.
Wow.
That's my
That's
name
beautiful.
thank you. But it doesn't fit in any government form ever. When we were changing my name and doing all that, government forms wouldn't fit it. We would have to ask for a little extension. And my name's not even that long. My mom's longer than my name.
Wow.
Which is so funny. Yeah.
That's hilarious. Okay, so now you live in LA and you have
Yes.
this insane job, and is TikTok
It's
your main
crazy.
platform?
Yes.
And your
think so.
main
I mean,
way of
I would
income?
say between TikTok and Instagram, honestly. I feel like Instagram right now has been.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
In between both. But those are my two babies.
Okay, so how did you blow up? What type of content was getting you followers?
I started making vlogs before
Okay.
vlogs were a normal thing on TikTok.
Oh, okay.
I started doing vlogs when people were still lip syncing on Musical.ly.
Got it. When
I used
people
to
were
do
dancing.
I used to do travel vlogs during Musical.ly days.
Wow.
And I know it was weird. At first it didn't do as great, but eventually started picking up. And I think vlogs was my number one thing. And I would do dances once in a while because I felt like it helped, put my name out
of
there.
course.
And whenever I was with my friends, it'd be the fun thing to do. But I think vlogs was what really did it for me.
It did it for you? Okay, so now I feel like you still do a ton of vlogs.
Yes.
Would you say that's still the main thing?
Probably, yes.
Okay. Do you have any strategy behind your content, or is it basically a direct reflection of your life?
It is basically a reflection of my life. However, I will sometimes go out of my way and slightly twist my life a way or another to make it work, to create content for it. I think today I bought a pair of socks, the ones that have the little hands that you can hold on to. You know what I mean? Have you seen them? They're
Wait,
socks.
no.
And they have little magnets and little hands with magnets so that if you go next to your boyfriend or friend or whatever, it will stick their magnet
Shut
hands
up.
with little hands.
That's
And I would have
hilarious.
never bought that if it wasn't to make a video.
Oh,
you know what I
okay.
mean?
Yeah.
So it's little things like that will change. Or for example, doing things like going out to certain locations to take content or photos or things like that would be things that maybe I wouldn't do on my day-to-day on a normal life. But I've been doing this for 7 years and I feel like everything just becomes my content, everything I do.
So you've been doing this for 7 years, which is a
Yes.
very long time. And now I would say you're quite the professional at it.
Thank you.
A lot of years of experience. What are the top 5, biggest lessons you've learned from going at this for 7 years and perfecting your craft?
Okay. First lesson, do not give up. It's an entertainment world. Social media is the entertainment world nowadays.
For sure.
And that's a hard world to be in. I feel like the amount of times I have thought to myself, why am I doing this? Do I just stop? And then I'm no, you love doing this. You did this as a hobby before it became your job. You're doing okay. It's fine. Keep going. I think that's would be number one. Don't give up and kind of be proud of yourself and give yourself the credit that you deserve. Second would be, I don't like being cliche when answering these questions, but honestly, the best answers are very cliche. I feel no matter how many times you hear them over and over again, they're still valid.
Yeah.
Okay, so I share my life on the internet
Yeah.
and do basically anything that I would normally do or sometimes not normally do, but I just shared an extension of myself on there.
For sure.
Do that because I've gotten so many people being oh, I don't know what to post.
My
And
life
I don't
is
know how to feel. My
boring.
life is
Everyone
boring. And
says
I'm that doesn't matter. The amount of people that I watch just cleaning their houses
Yes.
because I enjoy it, or going to their job, even if it's a normal job, it's not boring. I feel everyone finds it interesting because it's not their life. It's like I think that's a main thing. Everyone has like their own story in their own life, and that's their power essentially.
For sure.
So just don't overthink it. Like even though you do start overthinking it because of numbers and all that, don't overthink it. Just like post whatever makes you happy, whatever you enjoy. Because if you're not enjoying it, it's not gonna last. What else? Where am I at? Am I at 2, 3?
You're at 2. What about with what about with growth? Like what advice would you give someone that feels like, oh, I can't get past 10,000 followers? Like what advice would you give them?
I need that advice myself, y'all. Like, not with the 10,000 followers, but we'll just keep going. Sometimes looking at what other people are doing and replicating it in your own way, not copying, but like, let's say...
Getting a little inspo.
Getting inspiration. Like, it's not too good to over-consume content as a creator, in my opinion, but it is good to see what other people are doing, what's working for them, because the algorithms do change ever so often.
For sure.
And like, even the vlogs that I make, sometimes they will work in a certain format for a couple months, and then I'll have to change the format up.
Interesting.
So... switch it up. Even if you're doing the same content, switch up the format too and see if that will work out to keep growing. Because yeah, for example, I'll start my vlogs in the same way, like opening my windows, like my little like blinds, and that's starting to not work. So I'm like, okay, I need to start my vlogs in a different way from now on, so that maybe that will pick up.
Why were you starting them the same way to begin with?
So I started it the same way once. Like I did it just, that's the first thing I do in the morning. I will open up my blinds for my dog because he loves the sun. And so I started recording it and it started doing well. And I realized that might be like the opening grabbing hook and that people could identify me from that. Because like whenever they see me opening the blinds, they know it's my video and they know it's a vlog of a day in my life as a Mexican living in the US, you know? So I just started replicating it and it kept doing well. So I just kept doing it. That's another one. If you find something that does well for you, keep doing that until it doesn't work anymore.
Okay, no, that's great advice.
Yeah.
That's so funny hearing your little strategy behind that, because when I tell you, I've watched so many of your videos, I just now realized that you do that.
Yeah. And it works. I feel like whenever it comes up in like someone's like feed, they'll realize that it's me. They'll know that it's me for some reason.
It's like
and they'll just
very
keep watching.
subtle, but consistent.
It's like kind of like when you watch like an old like sitcom and like the little
it's
like you knew that it was like starting. You know, like you knew what show you were watching from the first like opening scene with like, you know what I mean?
Well, people
kinda
love comfort. They're comfort creators because it is, you know what you're gonna get in a way.
Exactly.
So similar to the blinds, the action of you opening the blinds, do you start your videos by like saying the same thing, or do you have any strategy with that?
I do switch up what I say a little bit, but it's usually the same thing. It will be like another day in the life of blah, 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 blah. Like that's usually my go-to vlog. I've been trying this new thing and so far I think it's going okay. But like when I just starting off not saying what I'm doing or what it was going to be, but like with like a message. So I'll be like, so lately I've been having friends over for like such and such, as I'm doing something completely different. I've been doing like weekly dinners with my friends and I just recorded a video like preparing like the dinner for them. And instead of being like, so today is the day that I'm gonna have like my friends over for dinner, I was like, one of my favorite things about living alone is having my friends over for dinner, like starting it like in a slightly different way. And I think people kind of like it because they don't know exactly what to expect from the video, which kind of hooks them on.
Totally. I always tell people when they're doing a voiceover, even though we do like see it, say it, when like someone's saying the same thing and you're watching the same thing, I think it's more interesting and captivating when you're kind of talking about something else while watching something else, because our attention spans are so short.
Another thing is people love the chaos. So if I start a video being like, I just got invited to a Halloween party and I don't know what to wear tonight, let's find an outfit. Yeah. Like people like will get hooked on that too. I feel like that they like the drama, they like the chaos. Yes. It is entertainment.
Okay, well, I want to play a little game with you. It's just, I want to know more about you, and I feel like your audience wants to know more about you. So we're gonna get into the fast 10 favorites. That's what I'm calling it. So I'm putting you in the hot seat. We're about halfway through the pod. We can take a little, fun game break.
Sounds good. I'm ready.
And I am going to ask you some of your favorite things, and you can rapid fire tell me.
I am really bad at this, but let's do it.
Okay. First thing is, what is your favorite beverage?
We're already going downhill. Oh, don't make me do that. Chai.
Wow.
Iced chai.
I love an iced chai.
I think an iced chai is my current
From where?
favorite. I do love Alfred's, but I've been making them at home.
Okay.
So I've
What do you use at home?
I use like a chai concentrate from Target.
Okay.
And I'll mix it with like some oat milk. And then just put a little extra cinnamon on top, ice, mix it all around, and it's pretty solid.
Wait, love that. Okay, favorite quote?
You deserve what you dream.
Whoa.
I actually have it tattooed.
What's that from?
I think I was just talking to
I've
my
never heard of
It's
that.
not like an actual quote that like, I think it's just like a saying more than anything. But I was talking to my mom once and she was like, you deserve everything that you're dreaming and you deserve everything that you're getting. So like,
Wait, I love
and so
that.
I got it tattooed.
Where's it tattooed?
It's like right here. It's
You
like really
deserve
little.
what you
You deserve what
dream.
you dream.
Okay.
I did it in Spanish. So it's like, mereces lo que sueñas.
Wow. Love
Thank
it.
you.
I love it. What's your favorite movie?
Oh, that's a hard one. It depends on my mood. Okay, if I were to say like favorite like series of like movies, I'd probably say Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter. I'm a big Potterhead.
Okay.
But
I've
as a
never seen it.
You've never seen Harry Potter?
I know. Everyone gets really mad at me. Should I watch it?
Yes.
I need
will
to watch
go
it
to
during
your
the fall.
home and make you
Okay.
watch it.
We'll have
We'll do
have
like
a
a
movie.
marathon.
Yeah, movie marathon.
It's 8 movies. It'll be a full day.
Okay, you can make me some chai. And I'll watch
I'd
Harry.
say either Harry Potter or I love like rom-coms, like old rom-coms, like 10 Things I Hate About You and
Okay,
things like
good.
that.
Those are
When Harry Met Sally.
Yeah.
I love like comfort like rom-coms like that.
Have you seen How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
I love that
so
movie.
good. Anything like that that's just like cheesy and
Yeah.
cute and wholesome and like kind of throwback-ish. I love.
Totally. That's the exact vibe of those rom-coms I try to emulate like in my YouTube videos. Is like I want like the, you know, when they're like laying out their morning routine or like
Yes.
getting ready outfit. Like
Yes.
those scenes like live rent free in my
Yes,
head.
exactly.
Okay, what's your favorite item in your closet?
Anything denim. as you can tell.
I'm not
I
shocked.
think anything denim is my go-to. Yeah.
I love it. Favorite person to follow on the internet?
Oh, that's another hard one. I love Emma Chamberlain. I've been loving her since she had like 100,000 subscribers. Like I found her before she got 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
And I just love her content. And I just met her like on Friday and I was like fangirling
Where'd
so
you
hard.
meet her?
At Barney's Beanery.
No way. Oh my God, I go to Barney's all the time. What were you doing there?
I was just with friends. And then all of a sudden my friends are like, don't turn around. But she just walked in and I was like, I need to turn around. And I wasn't going to do it. And then I started texting Gracie, actually.
Oh.
And I was like, she's here. What do I do? And she's like,
Gracie's
"Go."
is on our
Yes.
management team.
I was like, what do I do? And she's like, just talk to her. And I was like, how do I do that?
Oh, I am dead.
So yeah, she was with like a friend. And I went up to her and I basically was like, hey, I love your Levi's collab.
Oh, because you
I
were
love-
like the face of Levi's or
I'm a
something,
Levi's
right?
ambassador, and I just got her entire line. I mean, half of it I bought, and half of it they sent to me.
Yeah.
Of her new line with them, and it was
Wait, that's
also
so sweet you
cute.
bought that.
So I was like, I love your Levi's collab. It's so cool. It's so different.
Yeah.
And she was like so nice about it. She's like, thank you so much. Like that really
She
means a lot. She's
really
like,
is
I
so
haven't really-
nice.
She's so sweet.
Yeah.
And we just kept talking for a little bit longer, and then I was like, okay, have a good night. Like I don't want to bother.
Yeah.
And I walked away, but she was actually so sweet. And I want to meet her again.
Yeah.
But I love her content. I used to love her vlogs and like all her photos and the transitions she's made. I think it's what everyone dreams of having. It's a transition from a creator to like a full on, not even like celebrity, but like
No,
from, like,
she
doing high
is.
five. She's a celebrity
in
now.
my head, she's like A-list
She is an
now.
A-list
Yeah.
celebrity. So it's really cool. I don't know. It's like it's motivating to be like, oh, maybe someday.
Yeah, for sure. What is your favorite color?
Recently, I've been really into like blues, like baby blues, dark
Okay.
blues, or greens, like forest green.
Well, blue is very 1989, which
That
is
is-
Taylor's
yes,
version's
yes.
coming out.
I'm so
Our girl,
excited.
I'll have to text you when it comes out.
I've bought so much merch from 1989 Taylor's version. It's like unhealthy.
I can't wait to see her Bolt
I'm
tracks.
so excited.
I know.
They're gonna be good.
They're
I
gonna be
love
great.
that era.
Me too. Okay, favorite habit in your routine?
I love writing my to-do list in the morning. I love opening my bullet journal, flipping to a new page.
Oh, you're a bullet journal
Yes,
girl.
I used to be a very big like planner girly.
Yeah.
And I just got another planner to test it out. But
Yeah.
I think I like a bullet journal more because there's just so
more
much
freedom.
freedom. I don't have to worry about like if I don't fill up a page or something. I can just write ideas randomly. But I think doing my to-do list in the morning, that
Okay.
is probably my favorite.
Do you have any specific way you do the to-do list, or is it just like a simple to-do list?
I will like, honestly, to anyone, it'll probably look like a mess, but to me, it makes sense.
Okay.
And it will be like, I'll just start thinking of things I have to do throughout the day, and I'll just kind of like write them down, but not in order. I'll be like, if it has to do with social media, I'll write it at the top. If it has to do with like chores around the house, I'll do it in the middle, and I'll just kind of like start like going back and forth in like random
Interesting.
orders, and then I'll start different columns if I need to add
Do you
different
cross
sections.
it off or do you check?
I cross it off.
Okay.
She goes.
Yeah, I like the cross it off too. Okay, amazing. Favorite form of self-care?
Favorite form of self-care? I think like reading a book, honestly.
Oh my God, that's crazy. That's my next question is what's your favorite book?
I think reading a book and like doing a face mask. That's probably like my favorite combo.
Okay.
Or
what's your favorite
tea.
book?
Favorite book? What have I read lately? I'm currently reading The Creative Act by Rick Rubin. It's really good.
Oh. What is that?
It's more of like I think it would fit into not even self-help, but it's like for creatives. So it's a little bit more of like not like a fun. I mean, it's a fun book.
Wait,
like,
I want to
like
read
a funsies book, but it's really good. I'll send you the little thing. I heard so many people talking about it, and I was like, okay, I'll finally read it. My boyfriend's read it like 3 times.
Whoa.
And he doesn't read. So I was like, okay, I need to get on this.
This must be good.
I usually like romantic, like cute, cheesy, like little novels. I really like, what's it called? One Italian Summer.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
That one is so, wait, who wrote it? I'm going to look it up.
Yeah, please.
One Italian Summer by Rebecca Searle.
Okay.
She also wrote another book that did called In 5 Years. But that is one of my favorite books that I've read this year. It's so cute. The other one is called The Creative Act? The Creative Act, A Way of Being.
Okay.
By Rick Rubin.
The Creative Act. I have a list on my notes.
Oh my gosh. I have mine on Amazon, and I'll just put all the books in my cart, and then whenever they go on sale, I buy them.
Wait, that's so smart.
So I was spending so much money on books, and then I finally got my Barnes & Noble membership. Get a membership, girl. It saves so much money.
Okay. I need to do that.
I've become a bookworm this year. I used to be like the biggest bookworm in like middle school and high school. I would like literally prefer to eat lunch in the library with the librarians. Reading a book.
Couldn't be me. Could not be me. I needed to be talking to everyone in the cafeteria.
Gosh,
See,
so
I wish
funny.
I was like that more.
I was reading like a book a day at one point.
That's
they started
incredible.
calling like I remember
In
this
English?
one school. Yes. I think that also helped me with my English.
Well, yeah, no kidding.
And then I finally, like when I moved to LA, I didn't read for like a year and a half. I think I just got so caught up with LA. And then this year I was like, no, I need to get back to my reading roots.
Now?
I try to finish like a book a week. But sometimes
that's a lot.
Sometimes it'll be really funny. If I start a book on like a Saturday, you're not going to see me that Saturday.
Are you serious?
Like my boyfriend laughs at me so hard because I will sit and I will not get up off the couch until I finish a book. So I'll be there for like 10 hours finishing the book.
Okay, wait, what other book recs do you have if you're such a bookworm? I'm like going to get on my list.
I'm horrible at titles, especially because that's the one thing. If you read really fast, I feel like then I have issues sometimes like keeping track of who wrote what or what the titles are. I'm trying to think. What else have I read? In 5 Years, also by that same author, is really good. Oh, that's another thing. I'll read like 2 books sometimes at a time or 3.
Okay, I've been doing the 2 books at a time.
It definitely. I feel like you need like one self-help or like something that you learn from it.
One fantasy.
And then one fun.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I don't know what other books I would recommend because I feel like I've read a lot that like TikTok recommends and I enjoy them, but it's not like I think it's the best book in the world. You know what I mean? I'm like, if you read it, you'll have fun.
Have you read 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo?
I have it in my to be read. So I bought the book. I just bought the book.
That
to be read.
is probably my favorite book.
Okay.
I just made my friend Libby read it and she couldn't put it down. She was like, I was like, you were here visiting me. Please hang out with me. You can read this book later.
That's what I'll be doing tonight when I get home. I'll just be reading it up.
I am obsessed with that book. But right now I'm reading Nightingale. Have you heard of that one?
I haven't.
Okay, that one I heard a lot of recs. I know I'm in my kind of reading era as well, but I have a list on my phone and basically
you should do like a little highlight on your stuff like to be read books.
I should because I literally write my little recs next to it and anytime my friend needs like recs I'll send it. Nightingale and 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo.
I bought the book of 7 Husbands, so I just need to
and
read
I also
it.
love by Taylor Jenkins Reid Daisy Jones and the Six.
Oh, that
Have
one
you
was
read that?
so good.
Or Malibu Rising.
It was
Have you
so
read
funny.
that one?
I was so excited about like the series, but it didn't do it justice for me in comparison to the book.
I thought the series sucked. Sorry.
So bad.
Sorry.
Like the aesthetic was
acting
there.
wasn't
but
good.
The acting wasn't good. The story, like the vibe of it wasn't what the book was.
No,
it never is. But,
it was
I
kind
had
of
higher
like
expectations.
almost like I hate to say it, but like cringe to me in a way. Versus
I think they made it too quick.
Yeah,
like I don't know. I don't think it was.
It wasn't like grunge, like rock and roll enough. And I get it; they're probably not trying to like make it rated X. But I'm like, this needs to be on HBO.
Yes.
This is an HBO show.
It didn't give me the vibe that the book did at all.
At all.
It was like a completely different thing. To be completely honest.
Oh my god! I'm so glad you agree with me because I feel like I'm always the hater. In regards
I'll
to
hate
the
with
remake.
you about that. When it comes to like books and remakes, I'm like, I'll be there with you.
Yeah. Okay. That's hilarious.
That's so funny.
Okay, we mentioned it earlier when you said you met Emma. You said you loved her Levi's Club, but you have quite the relationship with Levi's.
I love them.
They've
adopted me into their family.
Have you always been obsessed with denim?
Yes, I've always loved. Like I'm a big comfort over anything girly. So I love my jeans and denim and such. But when I was younger, it's kind of funny. There was periods of time where we had it a little bit rougher, and I couldn't afford like a new pair of Levi's jeans. I think my first pair of Levi's jeans. Yeah, the first pair of Levi's jeans I ever owned was, I don't know if it was, the first one was from an outlet or if it was thrifted.
Okay.
I think it was thrifted.
Probably thrifted.
It was probably
I feel
thrifted.
like you can always find a good
And then my
thrifted.
second one was from the outlets, I think, because they are cheaper than like
Amazing.
at the regular
Yeah.
stores. But I've always loved them. And then I went to like an event, like a very small event with them, and they got me like my first denim like trucker jacket. I had never had like a denim trucker jacket. And I met with a couple people from their team that were absolute sweethearts. And I actually left the event early, which I was terrified about doing because I was like, I want to work with y'all. Like, I feel bad about leaving like an hour into the event. But I had a different event that I already like said I was going to go to before this event. So I was like, I need to go. So I did. But they ended up hitting me up about probably a month or two after that saying like, hey, they really liked you. They want you to be like an ambassador for them for the next year.
I mean,
And
that is
like,
so cool.
That was literally insane because it was like one of my dream, like it was in my top 5 brands to like work with ever. And then it also was at that time, like I was finally starting to earn more money in the US, but I was like, it was a little bit of a struggle because most of my campaigns were coming from Mexico and they weren't paying as well.
Oh.
So I was like, kind of like struggling. I was like a little tight on money at the time. So
What
when
do you
they
mean?
said,
Were they Mexican companies?
not necessarily. So like even if it's a company that's like, I don't know, I don't want to say a name, but even if it's like a big name company, they have different divisions. So they have like a Mexican
then
division.
They have smaller budget.
And then so they'll
I
have a
see.
smaller budget in different countries. So I was, whenever they told me like, yes, we want you for a year, I was like, I have a stable job for a year.
Yeah.
And then I loved it. I had so much fun creating all the content for them because I was creating like 2 pieces of content per month for them when I first started. And it was so much fun. It was so cool. And now it's
Is this
just
like TikTok and Reels or what?
TikTok and was it TikTok and Instagram, I think.
Okay.
It was a TikTok and then an Instagram post.
Photo?
Yes. I love video content. Don't get me wrong. Photo content is my baby. I love it. I have so much fun with it. Probably way too much fun with it. But yeah, no, Levi's has been so supportive and so loving, and then they will be one of the brands that will let me create my video in whatever language I want to do it. Their team is so nice.
That's amazing.
And I honestly feel so thankful that I like stumbled into them.
Yeah, is your jacket Levi's?
It is.
It's so cute.
And I
Oh, I
actually
see the little red
got it
tag.
at like the tailor shop, got like mi corazón, so it's my heart. I want to like start kind of like patchwork like tattoo. Like I want to like do this to like the jacket and just put like a bunch of like embroidery, like red embroidery all over it. But yeah, I think Levi's is all I wear nowadays. Like that's my go-to outfit.
Yeah, just denim on denim.
Denim on denim.
I love it. I mean, you can't go wrong with it. It's like the
Yes,
Canadian
exactly.
tuxedo.
Yes. I love it. I'm glad it came back because that's my thing.
What have been some of your other brand partnerships you have enjoyed doing?
Oh, okay. Let's see. I did Honest Beauty with Jessica Alba.
Well, weren't you and your boyfriend like the first ever?
We did like a little shoot campaign for them for their green juice serum, which is actually so good. I've gone through like 7 bottles. Like people will ask me, is it actually good? And I'm like, I've gone through 7 bottles of this product.
That's insane that you were the first ever.
I think, yeah, we were the first ever, like, I want to say like, I don't know exactly. I think it's creators or like people that weren't just models or Jessica Alba to like be in it. So we're like the face of their product. Yes, it's crazy because I kind of knew that Jessica had probably handpicked us, for this, but we went to their headquarters just to see the headquarters, and I wasn't expecting anything from it. And we made my own little like cream blush that is like, I love their cream blushes; they're so good. But they helped me make my own like shade that just matched like my skin color perfectly and everything. And it was so fun to like actually go in their labs because their labs are actually in their headquarters, which is so cool and so cool for the scientists as well, because if they come up with a product or something, they can literally like run out,
go and test it,
ask people like, hey, do you like this idea, do you like the formula, and then come back inside and keep working on it, ask for like feedback real time instead of having to like send an email or like send it over, which is really cool. But we were eating lunch and there was a seat next to me that was open, and I just assumed, I was like, oh, someone probably just took their lunch with them to like a meeting or something. And then they just go, hey, Jess. And I look over and I'm like, it's Jessica Alba walking over. And I was trying to like act really cool. She's so nice.
When was this?
This was probably like a month and a half ago.
Oh my gosh.
Or something like that. And
did you know, I'm pretty sure she was in our suite at the Eras tour.
She came to say hi to us.
She did? Yeah. Oh my God. Okay, she didn't come say hi to me. Did not come say hi to me.
It was so cute because she was with her entire family, but she kind of like got up from her family and she saw us that we were walking to get another drink, and she came to give us a hug and like say hi, like so happy to like see you here. And we had just met her earlier that week.
No way.
At that lunch.
Yeah.
So it was really cute. She's been so supportive, and I think it's so cool. I think she's really supporting me because she's also Latin.
Yeah.
And so she's like, giving the love
One
back, which is
Latin
so
girl to
cute.
another. Mm-hmm.
She's so sweet, and it's crazy because everyone knows Jessica Alba, and I really looked up to her. So the fact
Oh my gosh,
that
she's so beautiful.
she's beautiful. She was saying oh, I'm sold, and I'm like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
I'm like, you look like you're in your 20s, girl. I'm like,
100%.
she does not look like she has kids.
No.
She's gorgeous. She's gorgeous inside and out. So she's been so sweet. So that was another cool one.
Well,
Honest
Honest Beauty seems like such a epic brand to be aligned with because they're so clean.
Yes.
And
their products are honestly incredible. I love everything that they've ever sent. Even they have candles. Their candles smell so good. But no, everything from their team, they're literally like a family. They're all so genuinely nice to the actual product that is so good. It's one of the dream brands to work for sure.
Yeah, that's incredible. Congrats, by the way.
Thank
That's amazing.
you.
Good for you. Are you making content on your own personal channels for them, or is it?
So for them, I did the campaign shoot, which is the image of the photos. We did a full day shoot of 12 hours almost to get the photos and all that.
Epic.
And then I made some videos for them as well. I made some for their
channels,
for their channels, and then some for mine as well. I think I finished posting all my deliverables, of my posts that I had to do on my channels. But hopefully in the future, I'll get to do some more.
I mean,
we'll
I think you're the perfect fit for them. And isn't your boyfriend involved as well?
Yes, it was so fun to actually get to work with him on a
what was that
bigger
like?
shoot. It was so funny. We actually started shooting, and there were some people on the crew that didn't know that we were actually dating, and they were like, "You guys have such great chemistry. Have you guys met before?"
No way. You're like,
and we're yeah, we've been dating for a year and a half. I'm at that point, because we shot it last October, which is crazy. It took forever to come out, but yeah, it was so funny. But it was fun. It was really fun because he's always helping me shoot my campaigns and photos. He probably takes most of my Instagram photos.
So he
knows. It was really cool getting to actually do it with him. I think we've done that with Honest, and then we got to do something with Levi's as well, which was really fun.
Awesome.
It's always really fun because it honestly did not feel like work. It was just a fun time. So it was great. Yeah.
What is it like dating someone who's also in such a creative field?
Ooh, I love it. I think I also love that even though he does something similar, it's not the same thing. He's not a content creator.
Because he's a musician.
He's a musician. So he does music, which I think is great because we understand our worlds, but we're not exactly, they kind of intertwine once in a while or overlap, but we're not in the same exact thing. I'm I can't sing or play an instrument to save my life. So it's kind of cool, and it's awesome because he understands what I do completely, and we both have kind of flexible schedules, which is great for traveling, or if I need help with something or he needs help with something. I think I'll ask him if I can say this, but I think I'm actually helping him shoot all his visualizers and some of his music videos for this next project, which is really fun because we are kind of helping each other out too. So,
and you guys both clearly have a creative eye.
Yes.
How did you guys meet?
We met at a party.
Okay, how?
Before I was living in LA, this is actually a funny story. My mom drove me to this TikTok Halloween party, hosted by TikTok.
I'm tired.
And it's really funny, but I got to the event. I was just with my friends, and at one point, I was looking around to find my friend Josh that I ended up moving in with. I was like, where did he go? And I look behind me, and I'm like, oh, cute guy standing behind me. And I turn back to my friends. I'm like, there's a really cute guy standing behind me. What do I do? And they're like, talk to him. And I was like, I'm not gonna talk to him. I'm shy. Yeah. I'm not gonna do that. I was I think I was 18. And my friends turned me around, and they were like, hi, I'm such and such. I'm such and such. And this is our friend. And I'm the friend. And I'm just in the middle
you're hi.
He followed me back on Instagram. He didn't follow them back on Instagram. He only followed me. And I was like, okay. I'm we're doing well. But then we were only friends for we were friends for a year and a half or two before we started dating.
Okay.
So at first I wasn't actually living here, and then once I moved out here, I was in the friend zone.
Oh.
Wait, I got out of the friend zone.
Okay, whoa. So you meet, he follows you on Instagram,
yes.
You're friends. What do you mean you were in the friend zone? Were you trying to get out?
So I liked him.
Did he know that?
I think he kind of knew. I'm pretty sure he knew. I think so. I think I'm not the most poker face, transparent. I'm not the most poker face. I don't know.
Good at hiding it. Okay.
My friends are all so smooth when it comes to texting guys and stuff. That was never
You're
me.
I like you.
I'm basically yeah. But
and so he knew you liked him, and then
we were
he wasn't down?
I wasn't living here at first. And then once I moved out here, we were hanging out and he was a part of the friend group and we'd see each other like all the time. But it was literally, I think he just wasn't ready for a relationship because I think he was in a long relationship during like high school or whatever. And then he came out to LA and he had just been in LA for like 6 months as well. And he was trying to like focus on his music. And I was like, you know what? I respected it. We're still friends. I was like, eventually it will happen. Yeah. Knock on wood. I'm like, I was really hoping and praying.
How'd you get out of the friend zone?
We actually got in a fight and we didn't talk for like a month and a half.
Oh my God.
And that's when he came into his senses of being like, he came back from a trip and he was like,
I want you in my life. Yeah.
He's like, I do want you in my life. And so we like talked it out for a couple hours and then we just started like hanging out again, like kind of like slowly hanging out like with friend groups and stuff. And then slowly,
but as friends, like y'all never kissed?
We did.
Okay, you did. Okay, okay.
It's actually funny. I went to Colorado on a girls' trip.
Okay.
And that's when we had our first kiss.
And that's where he's from.
Yes. So our first kiss, he ended up spending like the night with me and my friends in our hotel because we wanted to go in the hot tub and like it was snowing. It was so pretty. We ended up like watching like this cheesy ass like dating show. Like I was like on, I don't even know what it was.
Like Love Island or something?
No, it was cringier than that. Like it was, I don't know what we were watching, but we were all watching it. And then my friend ended up going out to the balcony to like talk and like we ended up kissing. And the next morning he drove me to the airport and he was like, I think we should just stay friends.
Oh, he said we should just stay friends.
Yeah, because I was like, I'm like, what now? I'm like, we kissed, like what's going to happen? Like I am leaving back to Mexico. I'm like, I'm going to try to find an apartment in LA, but I'm not sure. And then he was like, yeah, I think we should just like stay friends for now.
Oh my God. Were you heartbroken?
I was just like heartbroken in the airport, FaceTiming my best friend, like, But I was fine. Overall, I was fine because I got it. I was like, I wasn't even sure I was moving to LA. I didn't want to do long distance. Yeah. And I've always been the kind of person that's very focused on like her job and herself before anything else. Like he's my first boyfriend I've ever had. Okay. Like I had gone on dates before with guys, but I had never been on a relationship.
Well, that's so ballsy of you to be like, what are we? I know. I mean, that's like good for you.
Well, I just wanted to know. I'm the person that like, I'd rather know. And then after that, the whole thing happened. It was so funny because we kind of like slowly started dating eventually. And he never like asked me like, do you want to be my girlfriend or anything like that? We were at a party and he was like introducing me to someone. And he goes, oh, this is my girlfriend. And I was like, what? You're like, what? Happened?
Say that again.
I was like in shock and I was like, nice to meet you. And then I just like slowly backed away and I called my best friend again because she lives in Kansas. And I was like, he just called me his girlfriend. What do I do about this?
How does your best friend live in Kansas?
Oh, she used to live in Florida.
Okay, you met her in Florida.
I've never lived in Kansas. Yeah. Okay. I met her in Florida when I was in middle school.
Got it. And you remained best friends and now she lives in Kansas. Yes. Okay, got it. I was like, what the heck?
You're like, I missed something.
Okay. And so he introduced you as the girlfriend and you're freaking out.
Freaked out. And then that night we were going to like a bonfire with some friends. So I asked him and I was like, so your girlfriend? And he's like, yeah, like that's what we are. And I was like, okay.
And how long was this after the first kiss?
It was a while.
Okay.
It was a while because we had our first kiss and then we were friends.
Yeah.
So that was probably like 7-8 months. 8 months.
Wow.
Probably.
Okay, that is a while.
It was a while.
Till he made it official.
Yeah, we were like friends for 2 years before we actually started dating. And now we've been together for 2 years. So,
wow. I mean, you guys seem like a great couple. What do you think makes you guys a great match?
I think we got all the meeting each other and knowing about each other during like our friendship phase. Yeah. Which I think like all of our arguments and fights and like everything, we got out of the way before we started dating. Because we were just like, friends and we were like, meeting each other and like knowing more about each other. So I think that definitely helped. And I think we're both very chill people like that. I mean, I am for the most part. But I think we just kind of like are very understanding and like we don't, if we have like a little argument, I'll just be like, okay, like whatever. Like it doesn't really matter. Like unless it's something big, like we've never had like a big fight. So I think getting everything out of the way before we started dating was definitely a good move.
Well, I feel like everyone always romanticizes about like ending up dating their friend. Because it's like I already know you.
That was always my dream, like dating my best friend. Like that was like since I was
look
younger.
At you now.
It worked out. I manifested
the literal saying, the little literal tattoo.
You deserve what you dream.
You deserve what you dream.
I really think I did manifest it because it was like, I was also very persistent. I'm not gonna lie. I think most of my friends would have probably given up after they got friend zoned.
Which I think is really cool.
And I was like, no. I'm like, I knew that he liked me to a certain extent because I don't know. I feel
why
like
are you still
like, why are you
hanging
still hanging
around?
out with
Why
me?
are you kissing me?
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like I knew there was something
Got
eventually.
it. Okay, I love this.
Yeah,
I
I
love
was
this
in it
side
for the
of you.
long game. I had like my
Yeah.
remember Zach and Cody how they had like their 5-year plan for
Yes.
dating. That was me.
That was you.
I had
Yeah,
my
yeah.
5-year plan.
Well, it sounds like you have a 5-year plan for everything. Your content, your dating. Like, I'm like, what else? Your chai. Your chai tea.
My chai tea.
Okay, well, Luann, it has been such a pleasure having you on the pod.
Thank you for having me.
Last question is, what are you doing in your life right now to make moves?
Ooh, okay. That's a good question. And I love how oh my God, love. Okay, so I feel like I've been doing social media for a while, and I've never had anything outside of like my social media platforms. Like I've thought of ideas of like maybe doing side projects and such, but I've never really, I don't know, I never really had the team until recently.
Yeah.
That we have the same team.
Yeah, we
but
have the same management.
we're part of the same family.
Yeah.
And I never really had like that full-on support, which I think is really important when you're a creator. There's a certain point where you just like outgrow yourself and you need more help. And
our team's incredible.
Yes, they're amazing. Love you guys.
Yeah. Love.
But we'll just so yes, my current thing has been like, what else am I going to do? Because although I plan on doing social media for as long as I possibly can, I want to do other stuff too.
100%.
So I'm working on a couple little things. I love my jewelry, so there's something to do with that coming up.
Okay.
Podcasts. Although I've never been on anyone's podcast, this has been on the works for about a long time. I think it's been like almost a year.
Oh my gosh.
Since
incredible.
I like started thinking it out, but I just didn't know what I wanted to do with it or anything. So hopefully before the end of the year.
Oh wow.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed, everyone.
Are you going to do it in English or Spanish?
I think I'm going to start in Spanish.
Awesome.
I know. I'm excited. That's honestly been always my biggest issue, figuring out what language to do it.
Yeah.
So for a podcast, I was like, what do I do? Ideally, eventually, I would love to do both.
There probably aren't that many Spanish podcasts out there,
Not
are
as
there?
much as in the U.S.
Yeah, okay.
So I want to start with Spanish, and then eventually, if all goes well, I would love to have it in English as well. Like, same thing, but slightly different in both languages. We'll see how that goes.
I would love it in English as well, so I can listen. But
I'll just like play it for you and be like translating live
as we
go. So yeah, hopefully that will happen. And just honestly, I feel like right now I'm in a very good point with my content and like the flow of things. I know I always want to make more, like create more stuff. But I'm very happy where I'm at, and I don't want to like overwhelm myself with too many things.
100%.
So,
how often are you posting right now?
I post every day.
Like once a day?
On TikTok, at least once a day. On Instagram, I post probably like 4 times a week. And then on...
Oh my God, I thought you were going to say a day.
Oh, no.
I was like,
no.
Girl.
I'm not going to be that person for them. I'm like, I feel like that's too much. On Instagram stories, though, Instagram stories are my babies.
Yeah.
I love, I'll post like 10 a day on Instagram stories just because I
Same.
think it's fun. It's like a little daily vlog that you don't have to edit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, where can everyone follow you and maybe look out for the future pod?
So all my social medias are LuannDiez, LuannDiez.
Amazing.
Like a little infomercial.
Yeah,
Call
no, I love
1-800. Yeah, that's all my social medias. I got lucky. I think because I've been doing it for so long and my name's so different. I had literally everything.
Yeah, you are so lucky.
Even on Snapchat, I got like my actual name.
That's incredible. Anyway, everyone go follow Luann and wish her luck on her podcast. We cannot wait to listen. Thank you so much for coming on the pod, and be sure to make someone else's day this week. Love you guys.
Bye.
Peace.